Hello, guys. Welcome back to my channel. Yes, we got the dub. We won the game. It was like a very easy game, I would say. It was very swift and very relaxed and calm win. Yeah, I have a lot of insights though to talk about the game. And the main one of the main insights is it goes back to the last week. It's about Pioli. Now, before going into that, I will re- I will share my screen so we can uh, do the player ratings. I will give my own ratings there. It's the first time that I'm actually doing these player ratings from SofaScore. So yeah, I'm just going to try this. It's also my first time streaming from StreamYard. Let's try this. Okay. Let me talk about the game first in general. I think it was fairly an easy game. I wouldn't say anything too much about it. I think it's an easy opportunity for us to start the season. I think also that the shorts that were done in summer for the Serie A, I think it was June or something like that, um, gave us a relatively easy start. So I think that's fair to say. And when it comes to the next match, which is actually against Roma, Roma lost today, if I'm not mistaken, from Verona. I'm not sure. I have to check this. While I'm checking this, I would say that that would be a harder game. As, obviously, Roma is a better team than Torino, and I will have to check if they had any actual injuries or something. Yeah, actually, they managed to score a goal the last time when I saw it. They were losing 2-0. But yeah, next week's game will be much um, harder, and we will have to play much different than today. Torino doesn't really have any players that are danger, so to say. I quite like what I saw from the player named Farao. I think he was technically solid, and I think that uh, he may be one to look at if he continues with his form. I think he had that confidence about him that many players don't have when they play against big team like AC Milan. So I think that's a really important thing. Before I start talking about our players, the thing is that now we started the season well. What's important is just to see the direction where we're going instead of just nitpicking uh, details that won't serve us a lot. For example, after the game, I saw that a lot of people were worried about Okafor's and Chukwueze's performance. They, I think, came in the game like in a 65 minute or something like that. Then they had like quite silent performances, and I think that people started going a bit overboard with those two players' performances, and I think that's not fair because they didn't have enough playing minutes to gel with the team and to gel with the attack, especially taking into consideration that the attack that was in the game after the 65th minute was actually all the players that we signed this summer. So the chemistry was not there. Uh, it was quite clear to see, and I think that they need to play more minutes so they can gel with the team. I saw Chukwueze was not really the Chukwueze that we used to see in Villarreal, that takes on players, that takes on risks. It's like this dribbling guy. You can still see he has that in him, obviously, but he was very cautious defensively. I understand completely that from that point of view, because you're playing your first game in San Siro, which is one of the most uh, exciting stadiums in the world to play it, in one of the most historic stadiums with like 70 plus K viewership. So it's it's a different feeling than to play in Villarreal. No disrespect. Then yeah, I was going to talk about the front three that, and was going to turn that back to Pioli. What I mentioned in the beginning, Pioli didn't uh, do justice to our new players, because me personally, what I think that when you want to gel your first team players with a team, you don't put all of the new signings together to play together in the first game, in their first games. You put them exponentially one by one by gelling them with other players that are already established in the first team, and that's how they build their team chemistry, and that's how they quickly adapt. So that's a really important thing to do. I think that Pioli just was like, oh, okay, we're winning again, whatever. Just let's just put all of them and let's see what they can do. But you can understand that to an extent when it comes to defenders, even midfielders, but with attackers, chemistry is very important. Don't get me wrong, like chemistry is important with defenders and midfielders as well, but with attackers it's something else, because attackers get fed on scoring goals, dribbling, making things happen. So that's why I think people were going a bit overboard with their performances, Okafor's and Chukwueze's, and the people were also comparing them to Pulisic start, but you can't do that because Pulisic is you can compare them to Pulisic because he's already like a more established attacking player that is further forward like in his career, and he has been there, done it. He knows what it takes just to gel and have the chemistry with the team. He's a captain of USA national team, so that says something. It's when it comes to Okafor and Chukwueze, they haven't yet been in that stage, even though they played occasionally, but they haven't been like in a consistent level. Pulisic has. We know that he's experienced, and his life in Chelsea didn't get to be the best one, but he still was that player. Chelsea, one of the richest clubs and most successful clubs in the world, signed him for a reason from Dortmund. So yeah, I would start with that. Then just going to the first team. Now I'm going to try to share my screen. Just a second. Okay, sharing my screen for the first time. This is interesting. Yeah, so we have the scores here, the ratings here from I was going to say SofaScore, but it's actually from Flash Score. So as we see here, I have quite similar thoughts about these ratings. To be honest, I have quite similar thoughts. But yeah, let's start with the ratings. Let's start with the goalkeeper, Magic Mike. I think he did a huge mistake at the first goal, even though most people won't see it like that. I think he could have done much better from his standards and where I put him. I don't think that I don't think that that goal should be going in. So yeah, 6.4 is the rating from a flash score. I would go with a straight 6 for Magic Mike. And then let's go from Calabria. Calabria just the same, a 6. I don't think he was he did anything, to be honest. He made a few mistakes and just an average performance. Like that's what you expect from Calabria. I don't think he deserves to play for this club. I don't think he's a captain of the club. I know that he's the player that was the longest in the club, but I wouldn't pick him as a captain. I would pick. I have a respect for him that he is passionate and he loves the club. He really does. He leaves everything in the pitch, but unfortunately, his everything is not enough for the level of the club that we are. So, yeah. Do I have to say anything about Calabria? When it comes to the captaincy thing, I think that Calabria before making Calabria the captain of the club, I would go with Magnan, Giroud, Theo, obviously. Yeah, I wouldn't Simon Kjaer, even though he doesn't start. But yeah, I would have so many players in front of him before picking him the captain. But I understand what is the one of the purposes of the captain. But I think also there are two kind of captains. There is a captain that leads on the pitch through his performances, and there is a captain that leads through simple and pure leadership. He's just a leader. Maybe he's not the best player on the pitch, but he's a leader. Unfortunately, Calabria barely makes both of them. When it comes to quality, I don't think he's anywhere near the required quality. And when it comes to the captain, okay, I can see that he shots and stuff, but I don't think that he has that leader's aura that typical classic captain like Stevie G, for example, has. I don't think he's nowhere near that. Malik Tia. Yeah, I would go with a 7. With Tia, there is one thing. Look, I gave Magnan and Calabria 6s, but with Malik Tia, I will go with a 7, even though I think he made a mistake at his positioning. When we consider the goal, I think he could have done much better. But yeah, he played well during the game. That mistake was like kind of what separates him from. He had some really good dribbles, and yeah, I think. I think Malik Diaw, deserves a 7. I think he has some really good runs. His confidence, the levels that he shows. 1 second. The levels that he shows, like he wants to be that mature player that you can see that he wants to be that kind of leader in the defense, but he still hasn't gotten in place where he can be fully mature. Let me go just back to sharing because I want to do something. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're back. So yeah, with Tio, I think that as I said, I think he had some good rounds, like coming out of the defense. I like his confidence and his assertiveness. I like that he has that confidence to to create openings with his runs, create opportunities out of nowhere, and he has like a lot of agility to dribble with the ball. But where I think that he needs to mature is his final pass. That's, I think, the key place where he needs to be more mature at. So I think that, yeah, uh, I think that about Tiav. I think that he's a gem that we have on our hands, and I think that he has the capabilities to be that type of player that we can. If we sell him, even though I wouldn't want to, but we could get a lot of money out of him. So yeah. Malik Tiaw. Yep. He played well though. He played well. I like this player a lot. I would go with the same rating, by the way, for Tomori as well. I didn't notice a lot of Tomori in the game, but when you don't notice a lot of a player, especially a defender, I mean just a defender, when you don't notice defender, it usually means that they are doing well, because you're not supposed to notice defenders because they're not those kind of players like attackers that have that glamour and that have that skill that, oh, okay, turns your attention and makes you notice them even better on the pitch. The defender's job is just to keep things silent, be under the radar, and the moment that you can notice them can be those kind of big tackles, like I think it was 2013 or 14. I don't remember the year. Yeah, I think it was. It can be even like 15 when we played Barcelona on Camp Nou, and when Nesta when tackled Messi, and when Messi was like punching the floor, it was very funny to see. But those kind of moments are when you see the defenders come alive in the game. Otherwise, if you don't see a lot of a defender, uh, they usually are having a good game or have had a good game. So Tomori, I would put into the same category, just like Malik Tiao, and I would rate him with 7. Theo Hernandez. Okay. I think this guy has read the newspapers, the criticism, and everything after last week's game. And he stepped up. He played like the Theo we know. He still has those kind of moments where he is like a bit grumpy, but I understand that. But he played very well. He played like the Theo we know, that is like a bolt on pitch, and he stepped up his game basically. He scored an amazing goal. The pass from the Leo was great. The chip from Theo was even greater. Just because I'm a football player myself, and I know how subtle and minimalistic, in a minimalistic way, you have to touch the ball to make that kind of chip. So it was pure calmness, pure relaxation when we scored that goal. and you have to have that as a player. I understand it's Torino, blah blah. That's an amazing goal anyway. If he can do that in a big games as well, that would be great. Because maybe I'm forgetting, but from what I remember, like against big teams, I know Theo has scored and assisted in big moments, but against big teams, I don't think that uh, he has scored like the fantastic goal that we usually see on him. I'm not sure if I'm forgetting. I know that he has scored against Atalanta, Lazio. Uh, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. Yeah, but I think his contribution has been there anyway, so that's what matters. I'm just talking about him on attack, and that's a funny thing because when we are talking now about Theo, we're talking about his attacking attributes, which clearly shows what type of player he is. He's a he's a great attacking player, and he's improving on the defense as well. That's a beautiful thing. He's becoming that kind of modern left back that has also defensive side to him, which is very rare for the modern left backs. I don't know, just Zinchenko came to my mind. Yeah, guys, there you go. Okay, let's go to reindeers. Reindeers was quite quiet in the first half, and you didn't recognize a lot of him. I remember he made like a few bad passes, but he's still that classy player in the midfield. I really don't have anything much to say about Rangers. He performed much better in the second half, and he was solid in the second half. He's that kind of player that even in his silent or bad performances, he you can see like that when there is a good technical player that on the pitch. Whatever game they're having, they're just good players. With Kroon, yeah, Rangers, I didn't rate him 7. I agree with flash score. I agree with flash score for Krunic as well, 7. I think Krunic was totally silent. I don't know because I watched the game, but I watched it without the commentator most of the time. I wasn't really present throughout the entire game, but from what I saw, especially in the second half, Krunic was completely silent. So since Flasco is giving 7, I would say I would agree with that because I didn't necessarily see him do any mistake. Loftus-Cheek, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Now, he was a contender for the player of the game for me. I will think about it later and let you know. But Ruben Loftus-Cheek was a player of the game for me. He played amazing. He was like that rock solid midfielder that we needed after Tonali's departure, and he basically created the first goal. Yeah, was it the Pulisic goal? The first, yeah. He created the first goal with 1-2 pass with Pulisic. He made an additional touch that put him in front of the defender, made him pass the defender. He turned it back to Pulisic and open goal. But his physicality is what creates those kind of goals. Because Benacer, even though he's a dog, he's physically very strong, but he's not like Loftus-Cheek where he can just go past the defender like that, because Ruben Loftus-Cheek is tall, he's physically stronger. And so yeah, I think he played very well, and I think he was the main man on the first half. The second half, of course, we had changes, so he didn't play the entire second half. But I think he is a contender for the man of the match. He had a lot of box-to-box movement, provided a physical presence, and basically they couldn't get the ball off him. They were trying, but he was so strong that they couldn't get the ball off him. And I like that he's also technically sound, um, and I like that he can separate himself from the ball, like make a half a yard more with a half a yard more pace. He can go past the defender, just like the first goal where he assisted to Pulisic. He can just push the ball and make that space for himself without a problem. So this is very key thing to have, especially from one of your midfielders on your entire midfield. One of your midfielders should have that attribute. The others can be quite more different. We remember Andrea Pirlo. One of them can be like that. The opposite. No physical presence at all, but the technical ability covers that. You don't need to have the physical presence if you are technically sound. So yeah, Loftus-Cheek, one of the contenders. Now I would go to. Should I go with Pulisic or no? Okay, I want to talk about all the last, so let's go with Pulisic. He was very silent. He scored the first goal, and I'm really happy for him that he scored the first goal. It keeps him on sync, and it keeps him awake in a way that he is contributing directly in the game, especially that he opened the game with the first goal and the rest followed. So I really like that side. But he was very quiet. He had that shot in the second half where he basically didn't like have a corner, didn't choose a corner, but it was a very strong shot that the keeper saved. I think it was it was more on top of the goalkeeper, like in the middle, than choosing like an angle to shoot. But he was rock solid, yeah. Okay. I don't know if I have anything else to say about Pulisic, to be honest. He didn't play bad. He played well. I think he complements. He went to the Laos left side on the second half, and I didn't see much of him, but I kind of understand that because the entire front three changed. So in the right side, he played well. He's not that type of player that you see a lot, but he has his impact, and I like that about him. Yeah. By the way, I forgot to rate Loftus-Cheek, so that's funny. Yeah, with Loftus-Cheek, interesting. I would say an 8, yeah. An 8, maybe 8.5. With Pulisic, I would say I don't agree with the 8 that Flash Score has given. I would probably go with a 7. Yeah. Because I don't live in moments. I don't take the game in moments, because I know that moments make the game, but also there are moments that you don't actually get to see a lot that open other moments. So, uh, Pulisic, I would say in 7, probably 7.5 for the first goal, but he was very silent during the game. And the first goal is not like he scored a wonder goal or something. I know it was a tap in. I know he played a 1-2 with Loftus-Cheek, so he has more credit than just a tap in. But yeah, let me know if you disagree with this. Yeah, Pulisic 7 or 7.5. Okay, Rafael Leao, the other winger. Rafa, our guy. Rafa is just like Theo. Obviously not the same, but he's very similar. When I say this, I don't mean like a player because they're completely different players in the way they play the game. But Rafa is one of those players that he just creates stuff. He makes things happen. But in order for Rafa to thrive and to shine, people in the box should be more aligned with his play, with his game. And he played much better, levels better than the other game that we saw last week against Bologna. But more people need to support him, especially in the front three. In the front three needs to be more in the box. He made a lot of passes, the classic ones that we used to see from his assist in the Scudetto win, where Giroud was scoring, like even last year's goal with Napoli, famous goal. But yeah, more people need to be in the box and show up for him, because that's how Leao will seem like he is not getting the numbers, but he makes stuff happen. Players should be there. Players need to follow his game and need to respect what he brings to the table. I also saw a lot of criticism from some Milan fans, which I completely disagree. He had a brilliant game. Like, I don't always agree with ratings that Flash Score, Sofa Score, or these kind of platforms give, but in this time I do agree with this rating. Oh my god, I'm not sure what I would rate him. I'm not sure. I would probably rate him an 8. I wouldn't go above that. Sofa Score has rated more, but yeah, I would go with an 8 for Leao. He created a lot of chances. He even could have scored the penalty. I read somewhere that Giroud and Theo were asking him if he wanted to take the second penalty when he created the penalty. I think he was injured at that time that he couldn't do that. But Leao brings a lot to the game. He had an assist, I think. If I'm not mistaken. Let's just see this. Yeah, yeah, he had an assist, as I mentioned before, to Theo Hernandez. But yeah, basically, most of the core of our team changed at the 66th minute. Like Musa came on, Okafor, Chukwueze, 2 attackers, 1 midfielder. We basically dropped 3 key players of the game: Loftus-Cheek, Leao, and Giroud. And yeah, then Theo went later in the game. But yeah, with Leao, I would rate him an 8, and I think that he is that guy. He is our best player. He is our best player. I know Pulisic is showing stuff. Other players can come and show stuff. But I'm still open and uh, and still haven't been shown otherwise, that there is a better player than Leao in our team. Uh, I'm not expecting us to go and buy Mbappe tomorrow, but right now, Leao is one of those wingers. He's. I have to think about before saying this. I have to think about it more. But I think Leao is one of those players that is top five wingers in the world. Top five, top seven, something. He circulates there. You have Bukayo Saka. You have uh, obviously Mbappe. Obviously Vini. You have, who else do you have from the top wingers in the world that are in that top seven? Mbappe, Vini, Saka. Okay, Mahrez is not anymore there. Neymar is not anymore there. Yeah, I would put Neymar as well, but Neymar is. Uh, I consider him out of football now that he's gone to Saudi. I would say Neymar. But yeah, I mean he's up there. He's up there. There are not a lot of names from the wingers in the world. Now I remember Rashford. But I don't rate Rashford like I rate Leao. Leao makes things happen. He just not with his goal scoring, assisting. He plays the game. He is a 10. Rashford technically is a 10, but he doesn't play like a 10. He's a pace and power merchant. No disrespect, I swear. He is a player that is devastating when he's on his day. But his days are not that frequent. I'm sorry. Leao is different. I know Premier League is different. I know people don't watch Serie A like they watch Premier League, especially. But Leao is that guy. Kvaratskhelia, I remember now. We have Kvara there as well. Like there are some wingers, but Leao is up there. He is our best player. I would still rate him an 8 for this game because it was a quite relaxing, laid-back game. It wasn't like a big occasion, even though 3 points are crucial. But that's why I would rate him an 8. You have to have like an hat trick or like a goal and an assist, or a couple of goals and an assist for me to rate you 9 or 10. So that's how I go with my ratings personally. Okay, I won't keep you for long. Won't keep this stream for long because I don't have a lot of things to say, because it was a game that we were expected to win. First home game against a decent side, not a very bad side like Bologna last week, but a bit better than Bologna. But still, we're at home. We're supposed to win, and we had a good result. Leao 8, and finally with Olivier Giroud. Giroud, oh my god, this guy, bro. He's scoring goals and aging like fine wine. He scored 2 penalties, but that doesn't matter. He's scoring goals. Yeah, he is one of those players that we have to really take care of him this season. He was not supposed to be our main striker. He was not supposed to be the guy that will lead the line for most of our season, but we'll need to take care of him. And I like that Pioli has made this change on 66th minute today, because that's how we keep our players healthy and fresh during the season, through rotation. And especially when we are winning like this, you don't have to keep those players. Don't do what Arteta does with Bukayo Saka in the Premier League. And he plays him even though Arsenal win. He plays him anyway, uh, even though the result is secured. So Oliver Giroud, we have to take care of him. We have to treat him uh, and be mindful on how we treat him. We have to let him be fresh at least towards like the end of February or something, because I know that after that time players already start to feel like the long season. But it's a good start. 2 goals, didn't play the entire game, came off early. Yeah, Oliver Giroud. Okay, I would rate Oliver Giroud 8 as well. So I have 3 8s here: Leao, Giroud, and Loftus-Cheek. Uh, I'm not sure if I rated Theo 7 or 8. I think I rated Theo an 8 as well. So yeah, but nevertheless, with my man of the match, I would go Loftus-Cheek. Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Why? Because he is a midfielder. We are not expecting him to get the numbers that strikers do get. Giroud is our penalty kicker, so he would kick the penalties anyway. He took them very well, very professionally. Then Leao played very well as well. But I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek was that player that stood out. And he was like one of those players that you kind of have to really be present with if you want to really analyze and understand their game. Because he is not a Barella. He's not like even Benacer or someone that is more or someone that their body language communicates and is more highlighted. Loftus-Cheek is a player that you think that he is strong, a good foundation in the midfield, doesn't do anything special like Milan at Chelsea. But if he has a good performance, and when you follow him when he has a good performance, he does some things that helps the other players and usually opens up the game and helps the entire team in general. And I think that's what he did today. And I think that's why I would choose him as my man of the match. And yeah, this would be my player rating. For Pioli, I would go. Have they rated Pioli here? I'm not sure. I think not. Yeah, I would give Pioli an 8 as well. His team won the game 4-1, home game. He made the changes early, so I like that, especially to our 3 crucial players. Actually, I will give Pioli a 7 because even though he made the changes, he put all of our new signings to the game all together, and they couldn't gel. But the positive thing from that thing is that they got game time anyway. They raised their fitness levels to real-time minutes, and that's a positive thing to take from that. But I still wouldn't put all of them. At the same time, I would be more creative with how I would do my substitutions. I will leave each new signing to play at least 10 minutes or 15 with the core of the first team. And I would basically be more creative with that, because you basically cannot experiment on a Serie A game, even if you're winning 4-1. That's not a place to experiment. You have your training sessions to do that. So, you know what? Let's be respectful and give him an 8. But that was a big flaw that I noticed, and that I think was from the game from Pioli's side. But in general, yeah, these are my player ratings, my manager rating, and I will probably do a review for Milan Roma next week. I didn't do a review for this game because I basically didn't have any time. But yeah, generally in this channel, since it's just a beginning, I'm still grounding, I'm still feeling into what type of content I want to stream, what feels good to me. This channel isn't name anything about AC Milan, as you can obviously see, and this is because this channel will be mainly about football in general, because I'm a football fan and I love football. I'm an AC Milan fan, but first comes football. So we will have general football content here. I will get clear on the general football content that I will bring to this channel. If you have any ideas or anything, any inputs to say on that, drop your thoughts on the comments. What content should I do that is about general football? Should I do reactions to signings, window? Should I do watch along to other league games? Should I do even reactions to tutorials? Whatever it is, I will highly appreciate that. I would highly appreciate your comments, and I will probably do myself some video about AC Milan as well, about just to conclude and to rate our signings at the end of the season. Yeah, this would be it with this live stream. By the way, next week I will go live to do live reaction for the Champions League short draw. So be there with me. It will be my first live reaction, and I think I will have fun with that. I'm excited to see what group we will draw. It is one of the most important dates for our entire season, just to see and understand what will our season look like. We have the group that Inter had last year, the group of death. We're in the third pot, remember. Will we have an easy group? An easier group? So we will see what's the case there. And yeah, I think one thing that I wanted to mention about the Milan game, it was very, very funny because in the 50th minute or something, the lights shut down in the stadium, and then people started to turn on their phone lights, which was very funny. I think that didn't last for very long. Yeah, in general about the new signings, lastly I wanted to mention about something about Musa as well. I think he looked very sharp, he looked very good, energetic, running from him in the midfield. He looked a bit like he was overwhelmed from the occasion playing in a San Siro, but he will get adapted to that and he will get much better, I think. So yeah, this would be it for this live. I will see you guys probably next week for the Champions League live. draw reaction. And yeah, thank you for watching, and see you.